I'll talk very basics on networking so that everyone can understand how these things work. Let me start by networking in physical world. Now, in physical world, how things work, let's talk about it. Probably you would have some servers. And what you are looking for, you want these servers to get communicated with each other, or you want them to communicate with each other. And for that, what you would be needing, you would be network card and a network switch. Once you have this network card sorted out, once you have the switch sorted out, you would create a connection, and through this connection, you are able to connect to your switches. Right. So it's a good small network, not having lots of complicated component, very small way to get started. But challenges can happen when you are having lots and lots of network devices to communicate to. So that time challenges can happen, and we want to solve that particular problem. So what we can do to solve that particular problem is to expand our network. And to expand that network, probably I would have another network switch. Now, instead of having only one single network switch, I have multiple switches connected together, and they are helping us to expand our network, right? But when I expand, another challenge can come. Consider like you are into a room where 1,000 people are present. There would be a lot of noise happening, and we want to compartmentalize that. And that's why what we will be doing here, we would be doing VLANs here. Virtual LAN. Virtual LAN is a logical isolation which would help you to keep your traffic separate. So it's like in a big hall, you have created small cabins, and you have meeting room, you have training room, you have your boss cabin. So they all are sitting into cabin, and they are not interfering with each other whenever they are talking about. Now there is a question that how important is a fundamental understanding? I would say very important. Nismo, it is very important. You would need to know OSI model in and out. We don't actually use it, but when a conversation is happening with a customer that, hey, we have a layer 3 switch, or we are having a layer 4 firewall, or we have application firewall. So that OSI understanding is very, very important. So please look into that. And if you need any help there, let us know. We would be happy to help there too. So once I have this VLAN sorted, what would be my next thing? This VLAN by default may not be able to communicate with each other. So the next thing I would be doing here is to create a routing device. This could be a physical router, probably, but could be software router too. And through this router, what we are able to do now, we are able to communicate across these VLANs. Shouldn't be a problem because we need this communication to happen. We don't want our services to just become isolated. We want them to communicate with each other. So yes, we will be needing that also. So we will be doing that. What else? Once this is done, the next thing you would be looking for is maybe to connect to internet, because this network is good, but it is still within your environment, and that's why we are looking for expanding it to internet. And this time, probably we would be putting a firewall because internet is not considered the safest network, and we want to ensure whoever is coming in, they are getting filtered or traffic is getting filtered, and then only we allow the traffic to come in. So we may put firewall. Probably you would also have a separate internet router. Now, if you're talking about a home setup, then what would happen in that home setup? This whole thing, your router, firewall, internet router, they would all be built in into one single device, like your service provider modem or router, whatever they have given you. If you're talking about corporate, routers may be different, firewalls may be different, and internet router may be completely different. We keep this separation so that there would be no conflict when a lot of communication happens. So this is what a common thing happens. What's next? Next thing is here that we want to ensure that we are able to protect our environment. So that's why firewalls are coming into picture. Firewall have no problem at all in protecting if you configure it properly. What is the next step then? Now, this was physical world. How about how networking works into AWS? Let's talk about AWS thing now. So far, I haven't introduced any AWS component, but what I'm going to do now, I'm going to introduce AWS component here and see how that would be working. So we do not give you physical machines directly. What you get access to, you get access to EC2 machines. So that is your, in a way, servers which you are connecting to. So that is your EC2 machine, right? Then, will this EC2 machine have a network card? Answer is yes. Without network card, nothing would come out of this device. So what we would be needing, we would be needing network interfaces also, but we call those network interfaces ENI, Elastic Network Interface. So that's what my ENI is, which is a network interface on my EC2 machine, allowing me to communicate to the external world. Then, do we give switches to every customer? Answer is no. We do not have a switch which says, hey, Ashish created an account today, let's dedicate this switch only to Ashish. That won't be scaling up. So what we need in that case, we want to still create logical isolation, and for that we create subnet. So subnet is a logical isolation which keeps my traffic separate. I may have a web server, I may have a database server, and I may want to keep that traffic separate from my HR system or my production system or my QA system. So that's why I would be using subnet configuration. So whatever I am presenting you in a different color here, like ENI or subnet or EC2, these are Amazon equivalent. I won't say exact same thing, but they are equivalent of what your physical world component may look like. Right. What's next? Next is routing table. We still need routing communication, and that's why we create a routing table. It's a software way of implementing stuff. Probably there is a hardware at the back end, but what you see is a routing table for communication. And then when it comes to protect your network, we give you things like security group and network ACL. So that's a security group and network ACL. Soumya has a question. Can ENI be considered analogous to VNIC? Exactly. It's a virtual NIC. It's a virtual machine network interface, Soumya. We don't call it VM NIC because it is mostly like related to virtual machine in VMware world, but it is similar to a network interface. But here we have little flexibility. We will talk about it. You could detach this network interface and attach it to another instance if the need be, which may not be possible with VMNIC. So I would say it is a different implementation, but the concept is same. It is a mechanism by which your packets would be sent out on the virtual network. So you call it VMNIC, I would call it ENI, concept remain the same. Okay. Now, what about other things? Internet router in Amazon also, we have a component which is called IGW. So this IGW component is going to help me in sending traffic out. This is purely required if I'm having an intention to connect my network to internet. If I don't want to do it, no worries at all. I may still create the whole network without IGW. So far, if you see, there is no difference between what is present in physical world and what is present into virtual world. Now I am going to introduce one component which is completely unique to AWS, and that component is called VPC, which is the topic of discussion today. So what we do, we package this whole thing, routing table, ENI, EC2 instances, security group, subnet, into a component, and that component is what we call a VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. Consider it is your own portion of Amazon network. In that network, you can create whatever you want depending on your use case. You may decide to have a VPC created for QA environment, another for production, another one for security. It's up to you. So it is your own private network within Amazon network, and you control everything inside. You control security group, you control networking, you control which EC2 machine would be part of that. So we would be able to utilize that. Uh, Kailash says a question, will can ENI have its own IP address different from EC2? Yes, exactly, Kailash. So that we will talk about. So ENI is an independent entity. When you are creating this in ENI here, what this ENI would have, this ENI would have its IP address, and it can have its MAC address. You don't need it, but this is what is associated with a ENI, and that can be completely kept independent, should not be a problem. So yes, ENI would have IP and a MAC associated with it, and you can have this ENI attached right now to, let's say we are connecting it to a EC2 instance called A. Later you decide, no, this instance is not good, I want to have it installed and attached to a EC2 instance B. So that is possible. It is a detachable. We use a word elastic. If you see here, elastic network interface, its a way is detach and attach it again if you want to.